Hello, esteemed colleagues. We continue the series of briefings in Ukrainian Crisis Media Center dedicated to the anniversary of Crimea occupation. And the next topic is presenting report Crimean Tatars at the beginning of 2015. And our speaker is Arsen Zhumadilov, head of the aide department to the President's envoy on the Crimean Tatars. You're welcome. The floor is yours. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak. As some of you, or majority of you know, we are speaking about report, analytical report, Crimean Tatars at the beginning of 2015. What was our aim? We wanted to highlight the problems of the Crimean Tatars at the angle of 360 degrees. When we are speaking about Crimean Tatars, we speak about some aspects, about deportation, or about people who live within their land. When we consider the Crimean Tatars problems, we have to give you the whole picture. This very report contains two chapters, and it says that Crimean Tatars are the integral part of Ukrainian state. We subdivide or split this very chapter into two parts where we speak, where we say or state that Crimean Tatars are real Ukrainians, and during the years of independence of Ukraine, these very people were mentioned only in 2014, and namely on March the 20th, there was a resolution of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on granting rights of Crimean Tatars, where it was mentioned that Crimean Tatars are Ukrainians, but there was also some promises that in several years there will be a series of laws. 1 year lapsed and we saw no laws. The second part says that Crimean Tatars are people who were deported according to their nationality, due to their nationality, and in 2014 Ukraine put a full stop in this issue within the level of legislation. Ukraine approved the law on people deported from other territories due to their nationality. During this year, our parliament failed to draw up a resolution how to implement this very law on Crimean Tatars, and it failed to be launched during this year. So as of today, we may highlight that this very law is, so to say, dead. And the second part, the information which is contained in that very part, we've heard a lot about it, you read about it a lot. That is status of Crimean Tatars in occupied Crimea. We may split it into two parts as well. You often hear the terms occupation and other synonyms of this word. And we would like to draw your attention. What is the status of Crimean Tatars according to the international law? We are speaking about annexation, that is not just occupation, because when we speak about occupation, then Ukrainian state authorities would not be expelled from the Crimea. That would be the first chapter, and the second chapter are provisions about the Crimean Tatars in the Crimea under the occupation regimen. This very chapter says that in the spring of the previous year, this very authority promised a lot in the Crimea. We provide you with a very revealing table of promises and what was really done, and according to every clause, they failed to fulfill its promise. That would be the first. And the second is the list of crimes which was committed by the government starting from March 2014. This report will be drawn up every year, the next year, when we publish the analytical report on Crimean Tatars at the beginning of 2016. We hope that during that time the law of Ukraine on peoples of Ukraine would be approved. We have launched this work, and it is headed by Arsen Zhumadilov, head of Majlis, and you will see and hear that appropriate draft law will be registered within Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. Secondly, we'll see that the law of Ukraine on people subject to deportation and respect to their rights will work. And thirdly, I hope that there will be no second chapter. Thank you so much. I'm ready to answer your questions. Do we have questions? I have one. If to speak about priority tasks, so we hear plenty of criticism criticism casted at the state power, which failed to take appropriate steps and draw up appropriate legislative acts regulating the problems of IDPs. So what are the primary priorities? First of all, that is creation of the central authority we have appropriate resolution, but it is not followed. Secondly, we have to properly arrange everything within the legislative level. When we speak about occupied territories, there is a draft law on freedoms and rights of people within the occupied territories, and the second law is irrational about creating free economic area, which is Crimea. To be frank, if this issue will be regulated within the state level and if there will be appropriate authority, we'll move forward for sure. Colleagues, do we have questions? Thank you. We have no further questions. Thank you for your attention.